Hello students, I am Rajeshwar, your geography teacher. Today we will discuss pressure belts of the world. The pattern of pressure belt generally distributed, corresponding with the heat zones on the earth's surface, about which you have already learnt that from 0 degree to 23 and half degree north and south, this region is known as the torrid zone. 23 and half degree north and south to 66 and half degree north and south is known as the temperate region, and beyond 66 and half degree north and south to north pole and south pole is known as the frigid zone. Now, the main pressure belts found on the surface of the earth we will discuss today. All of you are aware that this line 0 degree is known as the equator. It divides the earth into two equal parts, northern hemisphere and the southern hemisphere. Equator always receives the vertical sun rays, and due to the vertical sun rays, this equatorial region receive high amount of heat. Due to that, the air in this region become warm, and after becoming warm it expand and become lighter. Therefore, this air rise upward from the equatorial region, and when it move upward from this region, this area becomes low pressure region because vacuum is created here, and the absence of surface winds of this region, this belt is also known as the doldrums. Due to the vertical sun rays, low pressure belt is created over the equatorial region. It is found 0 degree to 5 degree north and 0 degree to 5 degree south. This equatorial low pressure belt shift sometime in the northern hemisphere, sometime in the southern hemisphere with the apparent movement of the sun. Next is the subtropical high pressure belts. The air which move upward from the equatorial low pressure region, it moves in the north and in the south, and after reaching a particular height it becomes cool and it comes downside both the side of the equator close to 30 degree north and south to 35 degree north and south. And when this wind descend here, after losing its heat, these winds settle close to the surface and converge into the subtropic and create a subtropical high pressure belt in both the region north and south of the equator, and these are known as the subtropical high pressure belt, and this is also called the horse latitude. Because of the rotation of the earth, winds also move from 66 and half degree north and south to the equatorial region, and also they encounter here and they create subtropical high pressure belts in both the hemisphere north and south of the equator. Next is subpolar low pressure belt. This belt found between 66 and half degree north and south to 65 degree north and south. The atmosphere is thin in both the hemisphere. The atmosphere is thin in these belts, and because of the rotation of the earth, the air swings toward the equator, and due to that low density of wind is there in this region, and they create a partially vacuum in this belt, and this column of air where thin air is present is known as the subpolar low pressure belt. Next is polar high pressure belt, which is found in the polar region. Around the North Pole and South Pole, air is so cold and heavy that it is unable to rise from this region, and it remains with the surface only, and the weight of the cold air creates high pressure belt over the poles in the north and south, and these pressure belts are called the polar high pressure belts in both the hemisphere. The pressure belts which we have discussed, like equatorial low pressure belt, subtropical high pressure, subpolar low pressure, and polar high pressure belt. These belts are not permanent in character. They keep shifting with the movement of sun. As we have already discussed, the air pressure depends on temperature, and therefore the sun moves from one tropic to another. The pressure belts also do the same. This phenomena of moving pressure belt from one region to another region is known as the shifting of pressure belts. Next is humidity. Humidity refers to the amount of moisture or water vapor present in the air. The actual amount of moisture present is called the absolute humidity. We write it AH. It is expressed in gram per meter of air, and absolute humidity is not important from the point of view of weather studies, as the amount of moisture is likely to change with the change in the air temperature. Now we have the 3 points regarding the absolute humidity. First of all, it is the humidity which present in the air. We call it AH. We measure in gram per cubic meter of air, and this is not important for the point of view of weather studies. It is more important to know that there is a relationship between the actual amount of water vapor in the air and temperature of air. Maximum amount of vapor air can hold at a particular temperature. Suppose temperature is 20 degree, then amount of water vapor will be different. If temperature is 35 degree, then the amount of water vapor will be different in the air. This amount is expressed as the relative humidity of the air, and it is measured in percentage. Third thing, that relative humidity is important for the weather studies. Relative humidity increase or decrease with the change in the air temperature. When the air can hold no more moisture, we call it a saturated air. 1 mark question can be there. What is saturated air? Then you will write down when air is not able to hold more moisture. And we will say RH is 100%. Further cooling will condense the water vapor, turn into cloud or rain. Humidity is an important element of weather because air with high percentage of relative humidity has great potential for condensation and precipitation. Humid air also absorb more heat and retain it for a longer time than the dry air. High humidity makes feel us uncomfortable, and it slow down the rate of precipitation from the body. This type of things happen or we experience in the month of August when rainfall is there. Next is condensation. One definition you will learn from here. Condensation is the process by which water vapor in the air gets converted into tiny droplets of water or ice. This is the opposite of evaporation. Evaporation takes place when the air is dry, but condensation occurs only after air is saturated. Already we have discussed what is saturated air, when air is not able to hold more moisture. The different form of condensation are given here. These are cloud, mist, fog, dew, and frost. Fog and mist are formed at night when the air cools below its dew point near the earth's surface. Dew point when the vapor turn into the water droplets and they come on the surface of the earth, or sometimes we will see it on the blade of grass and also on the metals. Fog is denser than the mist and often dangerous because it reduces visibility. Dew form in winter when the temperature is low but not below 0 degrees Celsius. When condensation takes place below 0 degrees Celsius, tiny crystals of ice form on plants, rocks, and ground. These cause damage to cultivated crops and trees. This form of condensation is called frost. Here question can come, what is the difference between the dew and frost? Then you can write down dew form when temperature is low but not below 0 degrees Celsius, but frost form when temperature is low and below 0 degrees Celsius. Dew is helpful for the plants, frost is harmful. Thank you.